Gervonta Tank Davis is one of the most exciting fighters, or is the most exciting fighter in the sport of boxing right now.
Okay, who you trying to line him up with?
It doesn't matter who we line him up with. He's exciting. Whoever we put in front of him, he's going to do what he got to do.
Let me just stop there. Those were the words of Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Shannon Sharpe, asked a $100 million question to Floyd Mayweather. And Floyd, of course, is promoting his fighter, Gervonta Tank Davis. And he states that Gervonta Tank Davis is a very exciting fighter, or one of the most exciting fighters in the sport of boxing today. Shannon Sharpe, Shay, shout out to him, asked a great question. Well, who do you want to line him up with? Who do you plan to line him up with? What was Floyd's response? It don't matter who we line him up with. That's the problem. People want to take that out of context. No, it's exactly what Floyd says, and that's the problem with Gervonta Tank Davis. You guys are not putting him with someone that can market him or could sell a good, decent fight. You're trying to give him all these showcase fights, okay? Think about the Mike Tyson, Gervonta Tank Davis interview where these guys talk together. That conversation. And what happened? Mike was like, when are you going to fight Lomachenko? When are you going to fight Devin Haney? When are you going to fight all these guys? What was his response? Oh, well, it will happen. It'll happen. See, what Floyd's doing is exactly what he did the last 4 or 5 years or 3 or 4 years of his career. He fought fighters that if it was a selling point to it, he would sell, but they weren't necessarily the toughest fighters. Now, he did the things to claim to be the TBE. I get that. But what he's doing with Gervonta Tank Davis is wrong, okay? I want people to understand where I'm coming from, and it's wrong because Gervonta Tank Davis has not proved himself like a pretty boy Floyd Mayweather has. Floyd is trying to base his money model off of a young fighter that has no foundation. You fight a 38-year-old slew foot, a broken foot, Gamboa, Yoriokis, and think you want to claim to be that guy? Who else have you fought? You don't. That's not a credible name. 5 years ago, sure, that means Gervonta Tank Davis would have been 20. And that would have gave Gamboa, 33? Okay, that's doable because then you're with a guy, a fast, a quick, a very experienced Cuban fighter that is lost to Terrence Crawford, okay? Versus when you decided to fight him, you put him in there because you knew there was no risk. It doesn't matter who you fight him. Yes, it does matter who you fight him and who you put him in there with. You're only good as the people you fight. Okay, that's the problem. And I know Mayweather's the promoter and all that good stuff, but at the end of the day, he has to push Gervonta Tank Davis in there. Let me give you a prime example. Why at 130, he didn't want Gervonta Tank Davis to fight Lomachenko? And that was 2 years ago? Why didn't he want that fight? That would have put Gervonta Tank Davis at 23 years of age. Okay? What was Floyd doing at 23 years of age? That's the question you ask yourself. He was progressing and excelling. Okay? Versus what was Gervonta Tank Davis doing? Fighting smaller people. Facts. We can't make this up. Okay, so when Floyd says it don't matter who they put him in with, he'll beat anyone. If you're not putting him in with anyone, he's not going to win. Pause. Let me counter myself. I can't say he's not going to win. What I can say, if you don't put him in there with someone worth a shit, we'll never see how good he really is. Just like we'll never see how really good Floyd was because we never really seen him get tested at an older age in life. He didn't fight those guys. He didn't fight Errol Spence and Keith Thurman and all that. He put them against each other. He thought everything was the Mayweather gym. He wanted to use that motto for professional fighting. No, I want you, Keith Thurman, to fight Errol Spence. You can't do that. Keith Thurman's calling you out. You sparred with Errol Spence. You know he was a tough bastard. You knew that much. A tough young prospect at the time. You knew that much. But at the end of the day, if someone's calling you out, If Floyd would have had the Roy Jones Jr. mentality, he would have been beat. I've said it. There, I said it. Somebody would have beat Floyd. Just like he knows, I'm basing Gervonta Tank Davis off my model because I don't want Gervonta Tank Davis to get or to take serious risks. And he's not. He's not taking those risks. He's not fighting the Garcias or any of those. And I think he can fight. He can beat Garcia because I don't think Garcia could actually take a punch. But that's my opinion right now. We'll see after the Luke Campbell fight. However, Mayweather stringing along Gervonta Tank Davis, promoting him like he's the best fighter and the most exciting, explosive fighter. Good. Show us. Show us what this kid can do. He's 25 years of age. Okay? You think Oscar De La Hoya was cherry picking at 25? Age 25, he was fighting Oberkar, Felix Trinidad, Ike Corte. Floyd was doing the same shit. These are facts. Floyd wanted those fights. Okay, so the last thing he wants to do is be that promoter that don't want to give him the fights or try to persuade that fighter that you don't need to fight the best fights in order to be rich. And that's what I believe he's doing. Counterpunch. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think about Floyd saying that it doesn't matter who Gervonta Tank Davis fights. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.